What is up, guys? It is Battle Brother Alchem of the Black Templars, and I'm here with...
Jacaro Weaponsmith Gershwan.
And today we're back at it to answer your questions in a holiday themed for the greater...
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewers. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. And this mask really hurts my eyes. Ow.
Yeah, I can't wear my glasses in this because I can't see and I can't read without my glasses. So
that ended quickly. Now I'm just regular old Gershwan again. No more Jacaro Weaponsmith. You are still kind of a Black Templar.
Yeah, I'm like that Indominus model, the captain.
Oh
yeah. Can come like up and down.
Yeah. That's pretty sweet. Anyways, this question comes from Isaac Langdon. So it's safe to assume that some custodians have been around since before the Emperor was on the throne. Why haven't they told anyone that the religion everyone follows was started by a traitor Primarch? That's a good question. And the same could be said about most Space Marine chapters. Because most Space Marine chapters don't worship the Emperor of Mankind.
I do.
Yes.
Black Templars definitely believe that the Emperor is the God Emperor.
They're the most zealots of all of the Imperial fists. So the reason is that they don't know. They don't know that this came from the Lectitio Divinatus. And that book that Lorgar created is like, what's it called? Like it's placed within the Imperial Creed unknowingly. Like it was subvertly put in there probably by the Tzeentch or the Chaos Gods or whatever. And I mean, they don't know.
Right.
Now, why don't they just straight up say like, hey, don't worship the Emperor, he didn't want you guys to worship him? They commune with the Emperor. And it seems as if though, because this happened when Gilliman talked to the Emperor, this happened when that Sister of Battle, what's her name?
Dominica?
Yeah, Alicia Dominica. When she spoke to the Emperor on the Golden Throne, it seems like they came out and they were like, oh, okay, there has to be a reason for them not to say, stop worshiping the Emperor. So I guess the question then becomes, why hasn't the
Emperor told him, hey, stop worshiping me?
Yeah.
And I think it has to do with two main big things, but I think the first one is that the Emperor wants humanity to be united. This is a very, well, I guess any time during the Imperium is a really difficult time, and having humans united against like the forces of chaos, the forces of like other Xenos, you really need to stand together. And I think this division, by telling people to stop, praying to this religion for all these hundreds of years, it's going to cause a civil war or worse.
Yeah, and also he has experienced this in the past because he's been around with humanity forever. He knows that without his guidance, humanity's going to revert back to worshiping different gods and different religions. And that is, like you said, it's a huge... it creates division between like all of the different planets, and then the Imperium is not whole. So that is a good point.
It's like the Imperial Creed is kind of a necessary evil.
Right.
But on the other hand, the whole worshipping the Emperor is making him stronger. So if you tell people to stop praying and following the Imperial truth, you're essentially telling people to stop strengthening the Emperor.
Yeah, because maybe the God Emperor is becoming the Emperor is becoming a god within the warp. Which we have a 40 Facts video on.
Yeah. Hiccups.
Let's hope it's hiccups. Next question.
This one's by Jake LOL 1980. What are your best tips for getting minis painted fast? And do you guys paint your minis battle ready or higher?
So what I have figured out, if I really want to paint a bunch of minis fast, I do it kind of like in a what is it called? Like it's a step-by-step, like paint everything
assembly line?
Yeah, like an assembly line, like batches and all that kind of stuff. And the key is to find the major color within the model. For example, I was painting orcs, and obviously green is going to be that one color that I'm going to use all the time. And I hit the entire model with spray paint, the prime, of a dark green, and then I do a quick dry brush with an actual makeup brush. So this is a tip that I found out from Pete the Wargamer, because he did it on one of his videos, and I was like, oh, I've never really like thought about going and buying one of those. Like, they're
buying. You mean you had one already, right?
the buying.
I'm saying like you didn't have to buy a makeup brush.
Oh
You just
yeah,
had
yeah,
one.
because I wear makeup, on the regular.
Yeah.
I ended up buying. It's one of the ones with like a bunch of like it's fluffy, like it's really fluffy and really big, and that's perfect for dry brushing entire models. So I dry brush like a lighter version of the green, and then hit it with a wash, and then pick out the details, and that's the quickest process to do it. Now, do I do higher than tabletop ready? No, not really.
Yeah, I very rarely paint my dudes. When I paint, I get frustrated because I want to see results, and that's not how it works.
Oh yeah.
So I tend to like paint, and then I get to a position where I'm like, okay, like I'm okay with how this looks. I'm scared to keep going because I might mess it up. So I'm like, it's done.
Yeah, and you just leave it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would be surprised though, because like when I was playing for Age of Sigmar, I have Blades of Corn, and I was painting a model, a cultist, and it looked terrible. But then I put a wash on it, and it just made it look amazing.
Yeah, sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind. That like really utilize tools and techniques such as dry brushing and just adding a wash.
Right. Or sometimes just mask it by playing a horde army.
Yeah.
Having a whole bunch of like those little Tyranid Termagants. You don't really need to make everyone like a freaking masterpiece.
Right.
Yeah, tabletop ready is good enough.
Yep. All you need is 3 colors, right?
I believe so, yeah. And that gives you your 10 points in 9th edition.
There you go.
Yeah, so that's kind of an incentive to get rid of all those gray minis that you have built.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next question.
This one's by Michael Hines. How popular is 40K in the Mexican-American community? I have no idea.
Yeah. As spokesman to the Mexican-American community, I will say that about the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like when we go to Warhammer, like when we go to hobby shops, the majority of people are white. Like it's very rare to find like Hispanic people, but there are some. Like we met a really cool guy.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But I think it's just because of the placement of these hobby shops.
Right.
The hobby shops are not in like urban communities, I guess.
You're not gonna find a Warhammer store or like a nice hobby shop in like low income neighborhoods. They're gonna be like closer to the city, inside of a mall, or those like rich neighborhoods.
And I don't think there is Warhammer in Mexico. I've been there, and I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
Yeah, last time I was there, I was 12. I don't think I knew what Warhammer was.
Whereas if you go to Europe, like I ran into a couple Warhammer stores just out of nowhere. We were in Amsterdam, and there was a Warhammer store. Like we were just walking down the street. It's like, oh, cool. Like there's like it's like a shop. You walk up to. It's crazy. So it's more popular in Europe.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because I think that's where like the HQ is, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other day we were in Chicago, and I wanted to go to a Warhammer store, and I looked it up, and there is no Warhammer store in like the downtown Chicago area, which is another thing that's kind of like, it's kind of weird. Like you have to go north in order to get to the closest hobby place. Well, there might be hobby shops, because I know there's like a Graham Cracker Comics.
Yeah.
And they might have 40K stuff.
Right. It's weird because like when you go to like Borders and stuff, Barnes and Noble, they have a little bit of Warhammer stuff.
They have the box games. Those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys ever have any questions about the Mexican-American community, we are the perfect spokesman. Next question comes from Liam Ford. Does Gershwan sleep? I see him do a yawn, and to end all yawns every video. I get very little sleep. Thank you.
Sleep is for the weak.
Mm-hmm.
I'm weak. This one is by Bunny Hop. What do you think is the scariest / creepiest GW sculpt in your opinion? That's interesting, because I feel like GW doesn't make scary sculpts. Usually it's like a conversion that makes it scary.
Not anymore, yeah. Because the one that you like, your favorite one, the Knight Discordant, I think it's called. I think
Lord Discordant.
Lord Discordant. He's pretty creepy.
Because he's got all these like tendrils, and like the little actual demon engine has like, I don't know if it's not spit or like blood coming out. It's supposed to be like poison, toxins.
Yeah. Also, what is the I have this model, but it's like a beast for the Blades of Khorne and Age of Sigmar, and he has like skulls embedded onto his skin. Yeah. That's kind of gross.
Yeah.
So that's pretty scary.
Maybe even the cherubs, like those things are pretty creepy.
Yeah. They're little babies, little robot babies.
Yeah, with wings. Yeah. There's nothing really too creepy. Even when you look at the Chaos line, it's all pretty tame.
Spiky bits.
Yeah. But I think like one of the most creepiest conversions I've seen is an Ideneth Deepkin model. So it's essentially a mage, and he's supposed to have like a cape made of water. But I've seen somebody convert it to make that cape be made of blood, and he's got like a vampire count's head. So it's essentially like a vampire covered in blood with like a bloody cape.
That's awesome. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Next question comes from Lord Dago the Fourth. Assuming that already have the army's models and table, now which book do I take? What rule books are required to play 9th edition? So you need the core rule book.
Definitely.
And that comes in the Indomitus Crusade box.
Or you can go to the, I think it was the Warhammer community articles. They have a free PDF to download of just the core rules for 9th edition.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So if it's free, download it there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to need your codex. But the thing about nowadays, actually that is kind of weird. Like if I'm brand new and I want to play orcs, there is no orc codex for 9th edition. So am I forced to buy last editions?
At this point, I think it's best to just, I wouldn't say wait, but...
Because that might be like 6 months.
Yeah, just go ahead and get the 8th edition, because that way you could at least dip your feet in like the game, the new rules and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then you can actually learn once the codex drops.
But also Battle Scribe comes in clutch.
Yes.
Because you don't really need to buy the codex. The Battle Scribe gives you all those details, and that's like community
driven.
Yeah. So
yeah.
In reality, you don't really need to buy any books.
Yet.
Right. You could also download the app.
Right.
But yeah.
I wonder if the app got better, because I know when it first came out, it was
trash.
Yeah. Caboose NZ69. What if the Necrons are experimenting with adding cybernetics to the meatbag races and using them as radio-controlled guinea pigs for false flag operations? Is that a possible tactic for them to use?
It's a possible tactic because the what are they called? The scientist guys, Cryptex?
Yeah, I guess, because they're kind of like the quote-unquote psychers that aren't psychic of the Necrons.
So I could see one of them actually trying to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the important part about the Necrons is that they don't give a fuck. Like they're not going to try to be secretive of destroying a society, or they're not like Genestealer cults. Mm-hmm. They're just going to show up and say, "Hey, we're here. Leave our planet. We give you 2 days, and then we're going to destroy you." So.
And then at like 4 hours later, that's 2 days in our time.
Yeah. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next question.
Carrie Vogt. Are you sure Bridget B isn't actually the Emperor, transformed and warning us all about the brutal future?
Well, you should check out her podcast. She has a podcast. If she brings up, the Unification War at all, then yeah, she's definitely...
I think she's warning us more subtly. Like, all the pounding she's taken is like what Terra's going to be taking when chaos forms.
Yeah. And it's not gentle.
No. It's going to leave us bruised, bloody, and a little bit ashamed afterwards. But you won't know it.
Yeah. This question comes from Ali Parada. Have y'all been recognized in public/game stores? And if so, how was the interaction? I think we talked about this last week.
Yeah, we answered it last week. Yeah, it's happened a few times, but most of the time it's just like, oh, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Talking about wargaming and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people ask us if we're gay.
Most of the time they ask us if we're gay. Yeah. We're not. Or are we?
That's a question that only a few select people know.
Maybe, yeah.
Do we know?
I mean, it's fluid, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's changing like the tides of the warp. It's basically the wheel of chaos where we go through the different phases. Yeah. What would 4 stages be? Straight, gay.
Oh, there's way more than just 4. Because if you look at like the LGBTQ community, there's a lot.
But there's only 4 chaos gods, so we have to bring it down.
Oh, that's right. You got to have like 3 encompass 1 and whatnot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Jamie Garth, how far from the Milky Way galaxy does the warp extend? Would other galaxies have their own version of the warp?
So far, based on the lore that I've read, no, the warp does not extend past the Milky Way galaxy.
Right, it's like contained within ours.
Yep.
And a reason for that theory is because the whole shadow of the warp and how that's meant to drive away the warp from like the Tyranids. Maybe that was a ability that they gathered from outside of the galaxy to use while invading ours.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's something that the old ones did.
And I think GW did a really good job by doing that. Because if you do say, like, the warp can take you to another galaxy, it opens, I like how it's a very confined sandbox world, and it's confined to the Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah.
I think it gives you enough space to be creative, but at the same time, there isn't, like, extravagance and, like, just dumb things of people saying, like, well, no, they come from a different galaxy where the chaos is good. And no.
Yeah. Because that'd be very interesting as to why nobody has entered the warp and left it in a different galaxy.
Right.
It's always like it's like a wormhole, kind of.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. Next question.
This one's by Boom Boom Boom. Is there any known improvements based on Space Marine DNA within the Hive Mind creations? So the Hive Mind... Yeah, we talked about this last week with the Tyranids who eat Space Marines. That genetic material went on to create the Hive Guard. So yes.
Yes. This next question comes from all the way to Z2. Well, that's not a question, but I thought it was kind of interesting. He says, Beavis and Butthead with tacos. I wish I had tacos.
Yeah, I haven't seen Beavis and Butthead in a long time.
I've never actually seen an episode.
No.
I just know that they do the whole, is it Bumholio?
Cornholio?
Cornholio, there you go. And then they put their shirts over their heads. Mm-hmm. And they go, meh, right? And there you go.
Yeah. This next one is... Oh no, I lost it. Every time I get an ad, like on the app, it like goes all the way up to like the top of the questions.
That's weird.
Yeah. So it's been a while since we've got this question, but I think it's time to bring Conrad back up. So my dog is yellow and fat. She was possessed by Slaanesh and she ate both of you. Sound Alchemist was tasty. And Gersh was meh. Think of that as she gained some warp power because Gersh is a vampire. Hashtag Team Edward. And Sound Alchemist is something with sound and alchemy, so a Slaanesh demonette, I'll take it. She was the leader of her own Slaanesh cult, and she's so cute. This is how she mainly gathered her followers. One thing is for sure, though, that she is too ambitious to be the only servant. So she got bored. She's a fat yellow dog, so you never know. She does not have tentacles or extra nipples, but she is possessed by a Slaanesh demon. Maybe the alchemist possessed her from her stomach. Regardless of who the demon was, she was successfully exorcised by herself. She said to the demon, "Piss off," and the demon went away. Later, she vomited you guys. Sound Alchemist started to say something, and Gersh tried to roll the dice. But the Sound Alchemist looked so damn tasty that the dog wasn't listening and ate you guys again. She then felt like purging some orcs and Tau, and soon she understood that Gaskell and Farsight are too far from her current location. She stuck to the first ship she noticed, like this creature you were talking about. She noticed the ship was all meat, and she became hungry. So my question is, can she eat some Tyranid ships and gain a link to the Hive Mind? P.S. Read my whole question. It's important.
No. So that's not how that works. Like if a Space Marine would, for some reason, eat a Tyranid piece, because you know how like they absorb the
memories of whatever they eat.
So you would not actually get connected to the Hive Mind. You would simply just like understand it, but there is no like. It's not like you eat it and then boom, you instantly become part of the Hive Mind.
Yeah, that'd be crazy though, because then like Tyranids would be like stuffing themselves into your mouth to try to get you to eat them. That
is true. That would be kind of cool. That's a straight up sci-fi monster.
Yeah, almost instead of like invading your body, it's using you as a conduit for the Hive Mind.
Yeah, that would be badass. And I think there is a alien creature that does that, and it was fought during the Great Crusade. I wish I remember the name, but yeah. Those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
As always, this is Battle Brother Alchem. My glasses got in the way.
And Jakaro Weaponsmith, Gershwan.
And we are out.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.